Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm the Sports Guru 716 and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Spittin' the Truth. Today marks the 5th anniversary of Terry Pegula's emotional press conference when he was officially announced by Gary Bettman as the owner of the Buffalo Sabres. And today I'd like to kind of just talk about that and the hype that it was and greatness that it was as we look back over 5 years where Terry Pegula literally has changed not only sports in Buffalo, but has completely revitalized the city. Now, if you recall, he got emotional as he saw Gilbert Perreault in the seats in front of him, and he started to get emotional as he introduced his family as his dream came true of finally owning the Buffalo Sabres. And what's really crazy about that is just to think to yourself, everybody wanted that dream. Everybody wants that dream. Come on, you're like, if I win the lottery, I'm buying a sports team. At least for me, it's like I want to buy a franchise. And he beat me to it, but it is what it is. But when he bought the Sabres, he said, 3 years or less Stanley Cup, and we all got really hyped up about it. And obviously, it didn't happen, and it just we all really were like, oh my God, 3 years, we could win a Stanley Cup. And the hype was so real at the time that we were like, this could happen. We're going to the playoffs. And little did we know then that would be the last time we've been to the playoffs in the last 5 years. And since then, there's been a lot of turmoil. We've gotten rid of our longtime head coach, Lindy Ruff, who's went on to Dallas and led the Dallas Stars to the playoffs. We got rid of Darcy Regier, one of the better GMs in the league at the time, in some people's opinions. And till this day, we still benefit from him and his drafting. Although his trades were never that good, he drafted pretty well. And now we have, Dan Bilesma and Tim Murray, but there wasn't without, bumps in the road. We went through Ron Rolston, a coach that many thought was very lenient, and he was, not, he was just too lenient, and he was too serious when it came to the system. And his players just didn't. I don't think his players really want to play for him. He didn't come across as a guy that guys wanted to play for. And then we move on to Ted Nolan, and Ted Nolan was a guy that Pegula brings back and kind of like a scapegoat as we tank the last 2 years. And he leads the team, and the team was able to get under him and work very hard under him and defend each other, and things that we hadn't seen in years out of the Buffalo Sabres. And Pegula, I remember Pegula, he introduced this event where alumni from the Sabres were allowed to come. It didn't matter if you played one game 25 years ago, it was a red carpet event, and we had tons of players from all around the NHL that played for the Sabres, even for a short time, come. And it was just really cool to see, because you got to see all these players from your childhood and before that, players that were in memories and stories that you heard. And Pegula made us feel like a family for the first time in a long time after the Galasanos and the Regises. And it was a real family-like atmosphere. And that's something that Pegula has spread as he completely overhauled the locker room and completely overhauled the arena in terms of making it more modern, making players want to come here. Terry Pegula, although we have not won a Stanley Cup, has done more things to impact our city than a Stanley Cup could have ever done. And frankly, I'm not saying I'm happy that we haven't won a Stanley Cup, but I would take what has happened over the last 5 years over winning a Stanley Cup in the first three. And this is why. You have the Harbor Center. The Harbor Center is the hub of junior hockey right now. These scouts from the scouts are all going there, obviously, during the combine, but more importantly, the prospects, all the NHL draft prospects go through Buffalo last year and this year and hopefully beyond, because the Harbor Center is revolutionary. Nobody has something like that. You look in Chicago, and I hear that Chicago's considering building something similar. In Tampa Bay, I went down to Florida a couple weeks ago, and you see them, the owner, buying a whole bunch of land, like tons of acreage, to build a hockey rink and parking ramps and restaurants, and all of a sudden, doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound familiar? That sounds like what's happening up here and what has happened up here. He has revitalized the city himself with billions of dollars, more than any politician was and could have, more than any owner of a sports franchise has or could have. Pegula has made, and the joke is we are Pegulaville. The truth of the matter is Terry Pegula saved the city of Buffalo from ruin. He has revitalized the city of Buffalo himself. Without Terry Pegula, the city would still be crap. He truly has brought us from the shadows into a city that is, coming up. It's in a renaissance, and it's happening through sports. It's happening through Canal Side. It's happening through the Harbor Center, the Sabres, and not only that, Ralph Wilson passes away, and Terry Pegula swoops in, and he buys the Buffalo Bills. And everyone's like, oh, Terry Pegula. Everybody kind of said half jokingly, half serious, like, I really hope Pegula buys the Bills. Is he going to save another team from leaving the city? And he's real mum about it. Guy's got $4.9 billion or whatever. And he goes and spends more money on the Bills than any team in NFL history. And he literally has kept the Buffalo Bills from becoming the Los Angeles Bills. You look at the St. Louis Rams, now they're now the Los Angeles Rams. You look at the San Diego Chargers, that could be the Los Angeles Chargers. Raiders the same way. Those cities are losing their teams because they don't have an owner like Terry Pegula. We should be grateful that we have him, and I feel like a lot of people are, but I think there's still a minority that are still sour because he said we'd win a cup in 3 years and we didn't. And sure, that was a statement that he made in excitement. He just bought the Buffalo Sabres, his dream franchise to buy, and he says we're going to win a Stanley Cup in 3 years. When really, everybody should have known, and if they were, if we weren't buying into the hype, we would have known that was a far-fetched idea. And it is just so great that Terry Pegula has allowed this city to become what it is. And back to the Bills point, you see him get emotional when he bought the Buffalo Bills. And I don't think that's, fake emotion. I feel like he's truly invested in this city, not only monetarily, obviously, but emotionally. He has bought in. He has created a family between the Bills and the Sabres. He has the same business team for the Bills and Sabres. He has 716. He's got the Harbor Center. All of it's tied in together. Pegula took sports in Buffalo and brought it to a level that puts it near the top of sports in the country. The city of Buffalo is a hub for sports, and especially hockey right now. They joke that we're hockey heaven. We are hockey heaven, and free agents are starting to come here. You're starting to see players want to sign long-term here. And that is the first time in a long time that you can say that. And it's really, really great to see. It's something that we thought we would never see 10 years ago when Tom Golisano had the team. And we were just hoping that we would never have to move. And 10 years ago, this year was when the 05-06 train began after a lockout. And we didn't know what we really had because Golisano wasn't spending any money. He even knows, and I'm pretty sure he said, I'm not here to make money. I'm here just to, keep the team here. He's not going to spend money to lose out on his investment. He just bought it so it wouldn't move. And you got to give him all the credit in the world for that. That's not something that many people would do. And then Pegula comes in and he's like, let me take this. And he has brought us to places that we could never have imagined. And I know, to wrap it all the way back, he said we would win a Stanley Cup in 3 years. But that man there, that man crying up on that stage, behind that podium, he has done more for the city of Buffalo than anybody could have ever done in his position. And I I, for one, would take everything he has done over the last 5 years over any sports championship because we're going to get one. Pegula is going to get us one. We may have taken the road less traveled and the more bumpy road to do it, but we're going to get one, and Pegula is the reason why. And you know, all I can say is thank you, Terry Pegula. Thank you for making our city great again. It's not about the sports teams, it's about the city that you have made great again. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this series, Spittin' the Truth, please comment below with future ideas for me to talk about. I have this week kind of planned out, but I'm more than willing to do another Spittin' the Truth. If you want to subscribe so you know when videos go up, I do try and do them semi-daily, or if not, actually daily. Subscribe and you'll know when my videos are uploaded. Most of the time I do cover more local topics to the Buffalo area, obviously with my channel name 716, but if not, I do cover national topics as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.